Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be another garden video where I show you how I made this strawberry tower that I made. As I mentioned in a previous video with the hydroponics, I tried last year to do strawberries in hydroponics, but I was unsuccessful because the reason with strawberries, you have to make sure you use an ebb and flow system when it comes to hydroponics. You got to make sure that the timer comes on and off. You're looking like 15 minutes on for the pump and then like 2 hours off. So this year I decided to do something a little different. So as you can see here in the pictures, I have about 56 different plants here in this system. Now here in a little bit I'm going to tell you how I put this together and everything, but I'm going to lay out some information before I start telling you that. Now, one thing I'm a little concerned of is the depth of these. These are actually what you use for rain gutters. There's a couple different sizes. This is a smaller one, but I'm thinking that the root system itself is going to expand and do just fine. Now, as you seen the picture when this video first started, that is about 3 weeks of them in the system, and they're doing pretty well. The brown and stuff that you see on the leaves is from last year. I do have some berry plants from last year that we buried in regular dirt and high quality dirt, and they're doing great and they're producing berries. But the ones that you see on the top and then like the third and fourth different rung are the new berries for this year. And then the places where you see that there is no berries, we use the root type of system, you know, the dormant type of plants that we put in there. They work okay as long as you get them in dirt and get the nutrition and stuff given to them that they need, so they grow nice and strong and produce berries. So anyways, what this consists of is, of course, you know, I built this stand out of wood, out of 2x6s and 4x4s and stuff. This is just some scrap lumber that I put together. So I went ahead and I made the frame first. Go ahead and make the size that you need. And I had a few leftover pieces of some of this rain gutter that I had when I had previously had an aquarium inside the house. I made the lighting system, diffusion system with it. So I went ahead and I had a few extra pieces. I had a few extra pieces laying around of that rain gutter. So I went ahead and, you know, measured and did some things to see how it would work, and that's how I came up with the size of the stand that I wanted and kind of the idea in general. Okay, let's talk about the stand and its dimensions. The wood I'm using here is pressure treated for outside. The thing about it is I had this lumber that we had for a deck for our swimming pool that we no longer have, so I got to reuse it. But that's why the dimensions are going to be a little bit off, because I just used those. But I will tell you the particular dimensions that you see on the stand itself. The stand is 4 foot wide and by 4 foot and 7 inches tall. Okay, the upright post, the top and the bottom are going to be 4x4 pressure treated. All the wood is pressure treated. 4x4 on the top, the bottom, and the sides to make the actual tower itself where everything's going to be attached to. So as you can see on the video, I'm just kind of going through and I'm cutting these to length. Rain gutters, those are the length of 1 foot 4 inches for those. I did that so that way on each side there's going to be plenty of room for the berries to grow. They're not all combined and just so compact into one area. One thing about this, what I used, if you notice in the video here, you're going to have some screws. Now when it comes to screws, to using like wood like this, and especially going in as deep as we need to into the wood, I don't recommend like a Phillips type of bit because they start stripping out. So I like using star bits and use the type of screws that are galvanized and that they won't rust and fall apart, because it's going to be outside, so you got to take that into consideration. So I used the 3-inch screws with the hex head bit for that, and I just put it together using my my cordless drill and all that, and got everything cut and good to go. It went together relatively pretty easy, as you can see here. I recommend for tools, you need to have a drill, you need to have a saw, you need to have a level, tape measure, of course, T-square if you have it. These just make things a lot easier, and if you have your level and you're on the level surface, I would use a level. But when I was making this, the surface I was building on wasn't level, so if I used a level doing that, it would be off. And we got to remember too, this is just for strawberries, so it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, if there's a little bit of a drop and it's not perfectly level, it's okay. That way the water will be able to run a little bit inside the dirt. Okay, even though this wood is pressure treated, I went ahead and I took the time and went down and got some exterior type of paint and went ahead and painted it. The reason why I did that, the reason why I painted it is because it's more aesthetically pleasing. Plus it also seals the wood up and will make it last a little longer. And also my wife told me to do so. But there is benefits of actually doing that. Like I said, it keeps everything a little more fresh, keeps the wood a little bit better for a little bit longer. Okay, so that's all when it comes to that. So as I mentioned previously, I went ahead and I started building this with some rain gutters that I had some pieces from a previous aquarium lighting system that I was using. Now with these, I have two different sizes. The reason being is because I used what I had and I had to make sure everything was going to fit on the shelving, and then I went ahead and bought some more. Now if you go with these dimensions, you'll be fine going either size of the rain gutters. But I went ahead and I did the longer ones are going to be 4 foot 7 inches. Now what you got to keep in mind is you also need to add 2 inches per each end before you cut it. So that's an additional 4 inches. The reason why is you'll see here in a moment, you have to go through and mark 2 inches off of each end, and you cut those ends, and then you fold it up, and then you use your heat gun to do the molding for the ends of that. So you always keep that in mind, that you have to do 4 inches, keep 4 inches in mind additional when you're cutting your rain gutters. Okay, so once you get the dimensions that you want, like I said, the longer ones on this is 4 foot 7 inches. The shorter ones are 3 foot 8 inches. With the when I cut it, like I said, there's additional 4 inches, 2 inches for each side. That way I can fold up the ends as we needed. Now the cool thing about these is when you buy the rain gutters, don't get the aluminum ones. You get the plastic, or the I don't know exactly, it's like a PVC type of plastic type of rain gutter. And the reason why is we're going to be using a heat gun on this, and you have to have a heat gun that does high temperatures that can actually get the material soft. So what you're going to do is on each end, you're going to do the 2 cuts on the inside on each end, as you're seeing here in the video. Okay, after these cuts are done, after you make the cuts, what you're going to do is you're going to start out with one end. You're going to heat the end with your heat gun. You're going to heat it until it's pliable enough. Now, let me back up a little bit too. If you get the type of rain gutter that you see here in the video, there's going to be a little edge on each side of the top. You're going to have to etch that a little bit with a saw, because otherwise you're not going to be able to bend the side all the way around correctly, like you'll see here in a moment. So make sure you etch it if there is like a rim or something going around. It's to keep the structure a little more intact and a little more sturdy, but you're going to have to cut that for it to fold. Okay, so once you got everything cut and ready to go, you take your heat gun, you hit the ends, you get them soft, and then what I do is I fold the side flaps in first, and it doesn't matter which side. They kind of, with that little lip, they kind of lock in pretty easy. Then once you get the sides in, then I go ahead and take the bottom and fold it up. And then you hold that for a few minutes. Now make sure this is going to be super hot, so you have got to have gloves on your hands so you don't burn yourself. Okay, so once you get all the sides folded up and everything's ready to go, you got to hold it there until it cools. Or you could also, if you have like a bucket of water, dip it in the bucket of water, but just make sure you hold them together, and that'll help the cooling process. Because if you let go of it when it's still warm, everything's going to kind of fall down and stuff. But once it's cool, it'll hold that position and it won't come loose at all. And this makes things a lot easier, because there's no gluing, there's no nothing. And even there is some areas, that the water can actually, if there's a lot of moisture and water in there, it can drain out the ends. Now with this setup, I did not go through and drill any holes on the bottom. I'm going to watch it this year and make sure the strawberry plants do well. If they need more drainage, then I'll go through and do some drainage holes, and I'll do an updated video to show that. But right now, I'm just going to go with it the way it is right here. Okay, so now the question comes: how do you attach these rain gutters to the
How do you attach the rain gutters to the actual stand itself? Well, the cross-section things that we made, the cross-section boards that we cut out, okay, those are the ones that are 1 foot and 4 inches. Those are the horizontal boards that we have on each end of the stand. The rain gutters itself will mount on top of there. Now, I went ahead. If you noticed, I put an upright in the middle. That's just a 2x4 in the center of the upright, and then that way I put another board in there. And I use 2x6 boards, as you can see in the video, same size, 1 foot 4 inches. You don't have to use 2x6s. You can use 2x4s. Just something in the center of that to stabilize, because remember, we're putting plants in here. We're putting dirt inside of the gutter itself, so there's going to be some weight. You don't want that bowing down. So that's why you have to have a center column to help support the weight. And with that, you can, whatever, if you're building this type of stand, you're just going to have to measure after you get the outside of it, with the 4x4s put together, or whatever you're using, just measure in the center of it and then put that in there. And then just tacked it in there with screws, and it's good to go. But the question is now, how do we attach the rain gutters to the stand? How do we attach the rain gutters to the stand itself? I have a business that I run that I also do 3D printing. So what I ended up doing was I went into Fusion 360, and I made these little bracket thing. I made these little brackets with 2 holes for the screws, and then it flushes down, and then that way the screw goes through, and it's flush, and you're good to go. So I went ahead and made some of those on my 3D printer that worked really well. Now, when you're placing the gutter on the shelving itself, you just put them on each end, so you don't have to do anything in the middle. The middle is just to help support. But I went ahead and I used the screws and put them in, each side, and it works great. There's no problems, and it holds it tight, and it's not going anywhere. It just worked really good. I'm also thinking, I may put those on the website at www.practicalhealingfoods.com. Go there to the store, and I may put those in there if you need some of those. But anyways, that attached it really well, sturdy, and there's no issues there. And so, okay, we have the stand cut, we have the stand assembled, we have the stand painted, and we've got our gutters cut to length. We have it molded how we need it. We have it attached to the stand itself. It's time to actually put in the dirt and start putting the berries in itself. Okay, so we went to our local garden center, and the guy, I was telling him what we were doing with the strawberry tower and all that, and he suggested to use this dirt here that you see. It's the Coco Loco. The reason why it's got a lot of minerals and stuff in there, and it's a very good potting soil, and it has shredded up pieces of coconut, which also helps keep moisture in the dirt and around your plant. All right, so I'm just going to go through here and just add dirt to each of these rain gutters, and I'm going to fill it up to the top, and then after that we're going to start adding strawberries to the tower. I know you probably noticed at the start of this video that there was a black type of line that was there with these red sprinkler heads. I'm in the process of making a automated watering system for it, and also for the rest of our garden. Make sure you check out our future videos. I'm going to show you how I hook that up, but that's what those are for. But right now I'm just using it, I'm just watering it normal. So yeah, I recommend, if you have any questions regarding your soil and stuff that you're growing, go to your local garden center. And I'm not talking about your big box stores like your Lowe's, your Home Depot, your Walmarts and stuff. I'm talking about like your mom and pop, or garden centers, nurseries that specialize in this sort of thing. They can give you a lot of information that you need. A lot of times the information that's on YouTube, the guy that I talked to regarding the soil here told me that a lot of times on YouTube, he said a lot of time YouTube gives out so much false information. So that's why I recommend, if you have a chance, go to your local nurseries, your greenhouses, and just talk to the people there that specialize in it. And they'll be able to help you and tell you exactly what you need for what you're trying to accomplish. So it takes a little bit of time to get each and every one of these rain gutters filled, but just take your time, fill it up, get a bucket if you need to, and scoop it out of the bag, and just put your dirt in that way. Now that we have all the dirt placed inside of each and every one of the rain gutters,
it's time to plant the berries that we have. Now we went and we purchased some different varieties of strawberries. Okay, so the strawberry varieties that we purchased from the greenhouse was Eversweet. We purchased roughly about 6 of those plants. All-Star, Everbeauty, and Sequoia, I believe is the other one. Quinault, Quinault, Quinault type of berries, plus the ones that we have that are the everbearing that we have that are going to be the root type of system, the root type of plants that we planted. We also have planted some All-Star in there as well, and I'm just looking forward to see how the strawberries produce. I already was able to try one of the Eversweets, and they are very, very good. You take a bite of it, and it's like you're eating candy, but still you're in keto. So just a little bit at a time. Now, one other thing that we did do for the soil for these strawberries, and not just the strawberries, but every garden bed that you see here in the backyard, is we purchased some red worms from the nursery, and I went ahead and put some of these red worms inside of each and every one of the rain gutters, so that way each and every level will have some worms in there to help kind of work the soil too. Hopefully it'll give us the desired effect that we're looking for. But guys, we just thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you for watching this long. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below. Make sure you check out our website at www.practicalhealingfoods.com. Check out our social media sites. Make sure you like this video and share this video to your friends and family. Make sure you subscribe to this channel to see future content like this. And we just will catch you in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye.